Welcome back playing Star Fox. Because I just need something. Out of these, we're doing whatever this is for Control A. Game. And this is the easy one, right? Yeah, for today, we do the easy one. 5 stages, it shouldn't take terribly long. Probably. Just tell me good luck, Peppy. Peppy. Aren't they the same person? One's a dog, one's a rabbit. Uh-huh. But seriously, can I play? You're gonna do it. Yeah. I know that, like... Whoopsie poopsie. I know they credit Banjo-Kazooie a lot for the whole, you know... That's what I want. The whole thing where they make weird nonsense noises, but... Star Fox. I really probably should have been paying attention to the controls more. Whoops. No, that's... Yeah. I will die. No, that's a break. Wait, I thought... You know what? This is what I need. I am gonna need to get some bombs back. I just want to restart the whole thing. But you know what? No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Yeah. The faster I go, the faster the level gets done. Yes. Bomb. Arigato gozaimasu. Okay. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like thundering like crazy, and yet it's like actually pretty sunny outside, so it's bizarre. It's been doing that for a while. Actually had to like look and see if there was anything on the news feed about something in the area blowing up multiple times. Because holy my gosh. It's a lot. Darn it. I let it fall on me. Like, oh, is that not... Although my shields are good. So I guess. But yeah. You ever think about, like, what a bizarre series Star Fox is, though? Because it feels like there's only, like, one game that people actually like in this series, and yet it has, like, a good bit of reverence for it. Like, I think a lot of people like this game. And, I don't know, people were excited about being able to play 2, so let's just give it the benefit of the doubt and say people like 2. Even though it was an unofficial mod or what the hell ever, right? Come on. I'm gonna go right up your butt. And then, of course, like, the big one, though, is Star Fox 64. Like, that is, like, the one. You're gonna be hard-pressed to find anyone who's not like, it is the best one. So there's that. Come on, are you just... Oh, come on, just die. You can do it. I believe in you, just die. Now shoot the main body. Darn it. Should I just spin? Spin to reflect? He's dead, it doesn't matter. Let's go, boys and girls. But boys, because this is a boys club. But yeah, I believe after this, though, was Star Fox Adventure, which it's been a while, but from what I remember, it's not like a bad game, it just wasn't Star Fox, which does make it kind of false advertising and disingenuous, right? Okay, sure, we did great. But yeah, it's like kind of disingenuous to like call it a Star Fox game. because like from what I understand, it was originally supposed to be its own game, but then they're like, but then Nintendo said to like Rareware, hey, wouldn't you rather have like this game you're working on? Wouldn't you rather have it do super well because it has like recognizable Nintendo characters on it since you're putting it on like the Nintendo system? And so that's why it went from being like, like I think they were like cats or something to being like foxes. But yeah, like I said, it's not bad, it's just not a Star Fox game. Then there was like Star Fox Command for the 3DS. It was the DS or 3DS. I want to say DS. Point is, that one probably would have been fine if not for the fact that like they want you to control it by like dragging a stylus across like a frickin' like the touch screen. So it's one of those things that, like it wouldn't have been like I don't think the highlight of the Star Fox games, but I think it would have been pretty passable if not for the fact that they were just like, we paid to put in touchscreen on these DS systems, so you're gonna have to use them, you know what I mean? So there was that. And then there was like the game that I don't think anybody really knows about. Yeah, hell yeah. Which is, I can't tell anything. These are Super Nintendo graphics. Back before they really did these things, like 3DS games. 3D-esque, not 3DS. But yeah, there was like this other one for, I believe it's GameCube, called Star Fox Assault, which it's not as good as Star Fox 64, but I still think it is really good. Because it has like a lot of the same type of combat, just not like as polished. But like the thing that does kind of make it stand out is like the fact that they add a bunch of extra missions in. Like they take out the Blue Marine ones, which is a shame because those were interesting enough. But like they have missions where you're on foot, which is kind of neat. And then there's also like an on-rail shooter part where like you're on like actually like Wolf's ship, like you're hanging on his wing, which is like pretty much like a Gatling gun. And you're just like going crazy. Like you shoot things as you shoot things as you go past, and yeah, it's pretty neat. That's yeah. So like they add in some variety. They also like for once in their gosh dang life don't make Andros the final boss, which is kind of unique on its own. So yeah, that's like one of those games that it's like, if you like 64 and you want something that's still pretty good, like, if you like 64 and you want some new Star Fox stuff, I would recommend Assault. It's unique. It's fun. But yeah, And then there's like the one that like honestly kind of like made me feel really betrayed, which was like Star Fox Zero, because like it was just like it was such a pain in the ass to like learn the controls. Like I always joke about how with that one it's kind of like the person who designed the controller thought that you had eyes in your head and eyes like in your nipples, if that makes sense. Because obviously your head was supposed to look at the main screen and your nipple eyes were supposed to look at the Wii U pad, the game pad. And it's just crap. Yeah, like remember it being like a big argument. There was like a few people that like were like, oh, it only takes you like an hour to learn the controls, people should get over it. And it's like, if it takes you that long to learn like the basic controls, like I think you kind of failed. I'm kind of like the opinion that like games should be like easy to pick up, like easy to pick up and hard to master. I think, like, well, a bit cliche to say, I think it, like, is a good thing to stay by. So if it takes you, like, a long time to, like, actually get through, like, just to learn the controls, I think you kind of screwed up. So yeah, that's why I believe Star Fox Zero sucks. And it was one of those things that they, like, made such a big deal about it. Like, I still remember the whole, like, Nintendo Direct where there was, like, Iwata, Reggie, and Miyamoto, and they did this whole thing. They made, like, a huge deal about Star Fox coming back. And I was like, oh wow, I really like Star Fox. Oh, this is great. Like, I couldn't wait. And, like, in addition to that, like, like, the other thing I didn't like about it was one of those things where they're just like, well, we're gonna reboot this series. And I was like, it doesn't really need a reboot. It got rid of Crystal, which I thought was a shame, because I actually kind of liked her. Maybe it was the furry bait, but I also kind of like that, There's another character. They kind of, like, especially with, the extra cutscenes that I didn't really get too far into because the game was nigh unplayable with its control scheme, but in Command, I, like, at least read about it. So, it was, like, some of the characters they brought in for, like, Command and, like, the few games they did after that, I thought it was, like, a shame to lose them. Shield me. So yeah, like, getting rid of Crystal and Panther, and there's probably one or two other people I'm forgetting. Actually, they brought in a bunch of characters like Bill and the like. I'm not sure if they brought them back for 64, well, Zero, but yeah, I think we lost a few 64 characters too in that. So yeah, I just kind of hate it when they, like, build up, like, build up a world and lore, and then they're just like, oh, well, reboots are what's hot this year, we're just gonna reboot it. And it was also kind of shitty of them to do that because, like, I think the whole point was people really like Star Fox 64. What if we just reboot this game as Star Fox 64, pretty much, right? And it was one of those things, it's like, no, like, don't just remake Star Fox 64, like, don't just reboot it, because that doesn't let the game stand on its own. That's, like, the other thing. Because rather than just being a pretty crappy sequel, instead it's like, oh, they tried to just redo the Star Fox 64, and rather than it just being like, I thought it was a pretty big failure, but, like, let's say it was only a moderate failure, now it's like a huge failure because it couldn't live up to the hype of being, 64 again. Because it was ass. But yeah, like, I don't know. Star Fox 64 was one of those that, like, kind of made me rethink the whole pre-order thing, because, like, to a certain degree, I know that, like, for certain reasons, you shouldn't really do it, because then they can just put out, like, a piece of crap game, like they kinda did here. Okay, I'm locked in. I can't not be locked in. Please make me watch this for like 30 seconds. Please. But yeah, like, to a certain degree, I think I always just kind of trusted Nintendo, if that makes sense. It's one of those, it's like, well, yeah, sure, I don't want to buy, like, this game from, X company, because they're awful. Okay, are we... Okay, I won, somehow, by mashing, I think. But yeah, it's like, don't buy from such and such a company, because, they're terrible. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's a pretty fair, like, it's fair. But it's like Nintendo, I can trust them to always make quality products. But yeah, like with Zero, it just felt like they really built it up to being like, like the second coming of 64, like Star Fox 64. And then it was just anus, right? So yeah, it just wasn't I. It just kind of made me rethink everything I do in life. Anyway, we're gonna stop it here. We'll do 2 short episodes rather than 1 long episodes. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with the conclusion of this.